Coming to you from the Tar Heel State, this is the Carolina Commercial Real Estate Connection, bringing you industry insights and hot takes from Carolina real estate experts, helping you begin, grow, and scale your commercial real estate portfolio. And now your hosts, Tony Johnson and Cameron Pearson.
Welcome to another episode of Carolina Commercial Real Estate Connection. Today we have Timothy Kelly on the show. Hey, Tim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate you guys having me. It's great to connect.
Yes, sir. We look forward to getting into it with you today. So just a brief outline. Timothy is a high performance coach and is also has a program where he helps people get into going from residential investing to commercial investing. So Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Could you tell us a bit more about what you're doing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks again, man. So kind of try to keep this short, spent 15 and a half years in the military. I was in the Navy, joined when I was 21, kind of did a lot of cool things, traveled the world. I was based out of Norfolk and Virginia Beach for a while at 3 different commands, so deployed out of there for a while, then transitioned over to Pensacola, Florida, where there's a big naval air station I was stationed. But back in 2014, I went on a long deployment and read just a bunch of books. I always had kind of a curiosity about just personal finance and building wealth and money, and like, how do rich people get rich, and how does that happen? And I kept seeing a pattern about real estate, and so I kind of got off that deployment, and 2015 kind of just dove right in, invested in myself, immersed myself in education, paid for coaching and mentorship and education, and I quickly saw myself kind of gravitating towards the commercial, multifamily, apartment complex, mobile home park asset classes. But I also really was interested in like the house hacking concept. So I was doing small multifamily as well, but I was also looking at the large multifamily. In 2017, closed on my first apartment complex while I was still active duty. Then I got like a fourplex just before that, got a triplex, and then I ended up closing on a mobile home park not far after that. And then at that point, I was just talking about what I was doing. And this is how this is the one thing I just suggest to everybody and recommend is just regardless of where you're at in your journey, just talk about what you're doing with everybody you see, share with people what you're doing, share with people what you're learning, what your challenges are. And that's what I was doing. And then I ended up on the Bigger Pockets podcast as a guest back in 2018, shared my story. And then I connected with this incredible military real estate investing education community called Active Duty Passive Income. They heard me on the podcast. It was when they first were kind of getting off the ground. And ever since then, this was 2018, I was still active duty, investing in apartments and mobile home parks. And then now I'm a co-owner and a board of director for Active Duty Passive Income, where we're helping other military members and military families, past and present, achieve financial freedom through real estate, just owning more of America that they sort of protect, that they fight so hard for. So I've kind of been dabbling a little bit in both the investing in apartments and mobile home parks, and then also building the community and striving towards our mission of helping 3 million military families just change the trajectory of their financial future through our community and our education.
First off, thank you for your service, not only in the military, but then what you're doing for the military, the service. You can tell you're service-minded and really giving away is what gives it back. So that's phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you say there's 3 million people within this active duty passive investing group?
So no, at this point, there's about 75,000 people just in our Facebook group, and we're actually in the middle of a transition off of Facebook. We kind of want to own our own community, and we transitioned to this awesome application called Circle, where we're hosting ADPI Campus. All of our masterminds, all of our courses, our local meetups and our events are in there, and we're actually hosting a big conference in San Antonio in 2 weeks, ADPICon. But our mission in this decade is to help 3 million families change their financial trajectory through owning more of America.
That's awesome. So let me dig in a little bit. So, and understand this active duty passive income. So this sounds great. So you've got a conference, you've got mastermind, you've got your own platform you guys are putting together. So tell me, what does that look like? So if I'm, somebody that's getting near the end of my tour of duty, getting near the end of my time frame in the military, or even if I've still got a longer term, maybe I want to do it for a career. What are some of the things that you look for in a prime candidate to join your team for somebody that's on active duty?
Yeah, man, there's a lot to unpack there because we've learned so many different things, building this community and helping our brothers and sisters. And whether they're a veteran that served 20 years ago and now they got out and they're just looking to supplement their income, or they're currently serving and they've only been in for a year or two and plan to stay in for a while. Like, either way, we have the education and community where you could get with like-minded individuals who have been there, who have done that, and you could create just some passive income, or you could learn how to buy a home smartly at every duty station, or you could literally learn how to become a partner or a joint venture partner in a large commercial multifamily deal and just really build wealth and legacy freedom through a lot of different things that we're offering. So and the military family, it goes through so much. I mean, they're the most resilient, some of the most resilient people. I mean, not even just the service member going on deployments, but their spouses who are staying back home, doing everything, taking care of the kids, doing both roles, right, while their service member is gone fighting for our country. And these individuals are some of the hardest working, most committed, most dedicated, most resilient, most humble people. And they also turn into some of the best business people, best investors, just with the right mindset, through discipline and grit and hard work and all that. So we love working with people because they turn into very, very well put together, savvy investors and business people. And then also, like, when people get out of the military, whether for 4 years or 40 years, they're always there's always a target, there's always a mission, there's always a purpose that they're striving for. When they get out, a lot of times it's hard for those individuals to find their own purpose and find a mission on their own, right? So this is another thing we've realized that we're doing as a transition plan. Like, now they have a target in place, they can help impact maybe affordable workforce housing families to create affordable workforce housing, or they could just have a mission to help their family build wealth and build financial freedom. So we're kind of putting them on a separate track with a whole new set of targets. But yeah, man, I mean, the ideal candidate is someone who kind of just doesn't want to be in the military, continue after they retire, or do however many years, continue to get another job, continue to exchange your time for money. And more people are realizing, like, you could do this on the side. You could be serving and start creating your legacy and creating your financial freedom path while you're still serving. But we help past and present military families.
Amazing. So one thing that I always notice, so, I have a construction company and we continually get applicants, that have served in the military. And one thing I always notice about them is something that you mentioned. They're always, the great thing that the military teaches people is structure, discipline, that mindset for success, right? And I think what you said was pretty, important to realize is, people are in the military, and whether you go active duty into war or just through the training, it's like you have commitment to purpose. Everything has a purpose and very structured. And when that ends, you need to hone that and push it towards something. And you guys sound like you're helping these people direct that, because, people, a lot of times they get out and they feel lost because they lose that structure. Right. And so having a purpose and creating that great mindset, I think that you're, doing well by people mentally for their stability, and teaching them how to redirect everything that they've learned in order to create passive income for themselves and their family. So that is awesome. So can you walk me through, if I reached out to you guys and I was interested in getting involved, I wanted to invest, how much money do I need? What do I need to do to be a candidate that you guys would consider?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, So many of the things and resources that we offer are 100% free. It's all about spreading awareness to the military community and just giving them the dropping and planting that seed. We have a best-selling book called Military House Hack, and it's actually this right here, Military House Hacking. And it's free. It's just free download. I mean, and it's really just like one of the aha moments that a lot of military members have. They could actually utilize their VA loan, which so many people in the military don't even realize exists. And the ones that do a lot of them aren't taking advantage of it. It is literally a 0% down loan that you can get into up to 4 units, just like any other residential owner occupied loan. You could buy a single family home and for 0% down, whether you have a family or not, you can house hack it, or you can get 4 units and live in one unit, rent out the other. So the military house hacking is such a great starting point for people that whether they want to just buy a single family home at every command that they're at, or they want to really start just building massive wealth, that's a great place to start. So we have that military house hacking book is 100% free. Our huge military community, over 75,000 members on Facebook, that's 100% free. And it's actually highly engaged. And we vet every single person in that group to make sure they're military affiliated and they're not just an agent or a lender or some vendor trying to go in there and poach leads. You're not allowed to solicit it. Also, it's a bunch of value. I wrote a couple other different books. The Blueprint to Financial Success is like the financial foundation stuff you kind of need to know. I wrote another book, the All-in-One Credit Guide, just completely free. The ADPI home buyer's guide, I wrote that. That's completely free. We have freedom calls where you could talk to
Hang on a second.
All this stuff is free, man.
What are you doing with your life? How many books have you written?
How much structure and organization do you have?
Yeah, I mean, these are just free resources, and like the list goes on. We have meetups, local meetups, and really around the world, not just in the U.S., because there's so many military bases around the world that people are stationed in Japan and Germany and Italy, Spain, like that. They just want to get together and learn about real estate and connect with each other. And we have all these meetups. The one here in Tampa is next week. I'll be there, and this is one of the first ones that I'll be at. And so we have the meetups, we have the conference. That's obviously not free, but that's going to be such massive amounts of energy and just education. So there's a lot of education and resources that we offer for free. That's not even all of it. We have a highly rated podcast. We've interviewed like Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Jocko, like all these people have been on our podcast. But we like interviewing our members in the community or people who are serving and letting them know, like, look, I went through this ADPI education and I'm part of the community. I'm still active duty and now I'm crushing it. I have multiple properties, or I was able to close on, commercial properties or whatever. So a lot of different ways people get started for no price, just to get in the community and surround themselves. And then obviously for those people who are serious, we have a residential academy, then a short-term rental academy, and a multifamily commercial academy with their respective masterminds. And we're building out so much more, as we speak.
Wow, this sounds like quite an organization. So one thing I did want to touch on that I think is important to make sure we detail out. So anybody that is active military that happens to be listening or knows or is a family member that's active military, when you discuss the VA loans, I think it's very important to understand that VA loan is an awesome product. Yeah, that everybody that's in the military should take advantage of. But something that you just kind of mentioned that I want to make sure everybody understands is you can do this. You do the VA loan where you're stationed. Then you get redeployed and stationed somewhere else. You again can do that same VA loan, retain the other one, rent it all out, and do a new VA loan for the new location. You're allowed to do that more than once. So you can do that, get yourself a multifamily, and start to build up wealth while you're in the service once you begin to understand that. And you're getting to take advantage of that VA product, which allows you, 0% down. On a lot of times you can do, maybe you do 5% down, 0% down, but these are, ways to really, you are given the opportunity to build up wealth while you're in the service and start getting involved in real estate. And they make it about as easy as possible. And typically there is, very, what would you call it? Very, modestly priced opportunities for housing around military bases, because they understand a lot of those are rentals and people are living in them for short-term periods of time. So those are great rentals and presents a great opportunity for somebody who's looking to get started in this.
That's exactly how I got started, man. I purchased a 4-unit property with a 203K loan that, before I realized that there was a VA rehab loan. Like the VA has a rehab loan, just like the 203K loan, where you could wrap the cost of rehab into the VA loan and have the lender pretty much give you a big bucket of money to purchase the property and also give you money to rehab it. And, still 0% down. And a lot of people don't realize that's a thing. A lot of people don't realize there's a VA construction loan that's also 0% down, where you could build a brand new place, and with 0% down. And that's such a great way to just catapult you into being a homeowner, and then a landlord and an investor, all in one deal as a house hack, and for 0% down. And then you're being paid to live. You're cash flowing. You're not only saving on the mortgage payment, but you are also but you're cash flowing if you're doing it right, if you have multiple units, for sure. And for even like single men who don't have a family, like they could just do it with a big 4-bedroom house, 5-bedroom house, rent it out to all their buddies. Like in Pensacola, that's where the main flight school is. So, I had multiple people in our community buy a home and house hack and rent out the bedrooms to other flight students while they were in Pensacola going to the flight school. And that's an incredible way to get started. Plus the officers get this huge, like $30,000 starter loan that they could even use that to purchase another property, or go passively invest in a syndication or something. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities the military offers, man. It's just that's the key thing we're doing at ADPI, just spreading the awareness and letting people know, look, take advantage of your benefits, do these things, get educated, surround yourself with people who are doing it, and just go take action and change your life, change your family's tree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's extremely important too, what you bring up. I mean, you have to surround yourself with people that are trying to consistently better themselves. So, for those who don't understand a mastermind and what you're speaking about there with a mastermind, in case I haven't gone over that in one of our previous episodes, could you kind of go through what you mean by mastermind, what that looks like? You said you guys do it for short-term, single-family homes and multifamily. What does that look like? How does that operate with your group?
I mean, for those Christians out there, and I don't want to make this about a religious thing. It's even in the Bible. Iron sharpens iron. As one man sharpens another, and who you surround yourself with, you're the average of those people. I can go on and on and on about that. A lot of you may have heard about, you're the product, or you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. But man, like, it's the 10 people that you really spend the most time with. You are the average of, how happy they are, how much money they make, what their net worth is, how fulfilled, their family is, how much they give, and, what their goals are, what their vision is. Like, the people you spend the most time with, regardless of who you think you are, you're the average of those people. And you always want to be this, the dumbest person in the room. It's okay to be the dumbest person in the room. So when you're in a mastermind full of people, 9 times out of 10, those people in that mastermind have goals that you may have never even considered, or that you have, but you can't find people at your job, at your military command, at your W-2 workplace, that a lot of people might look at you crazy if you tell them, I want to go buy a 100-unit apartment complex and change my family's financial future. You might get friggin' looked at like you got 2 heads, like, who do you think you are? Why do you think you do that? So if you're in a mastermind, you're surrounding yourself with people who could actually resonate with that, who like come up with the same challenges, and who could help you, right? They want to help each other. That's where your partners are. That's where your potential investors are. And, the military community already has that bond, that brotherhood, that camaraderie. So it's even more of a tight knit, individual community, because there's already, we already have that, that camaraderie. But if, regardless of military or not, a mastermind is a place, if you're serious about your goals, find a mastermind. And sometimes you got to pay to play. There's some free masterminds out there that you could be part of, whether it's online or maybe some meetups locally, but real masterminds have real substance, and there's a value to that. And I've been paying for coaching and masterminds and mentorship. That's when my trajectory started to change, because I was willing to invest in myself. When people say invest in yourself, you're immersing yourself in education, pay for quality education, and pay to be in the right room. It's always going to be worth it.
That's right. And the thing is, with spending money on masterminds, I mean, the reality is, you could do masterminds for free. Facebook, there's Facebook pages everywhere for real estate investment. In order to really commit and have people that are committed to that growth and really want to make something happen, it's basically a buy-in for commitment. It's how you need to look at it. So that the dollar amount of it is really, doesn't make any difference. You spend whatever you spend, and that makes you be committed to the process. That's really what the money's for. It's not, these people aren't making tons of money on putting these mastermind groups together, but it creates commitment. And then the people, sometimes, people host a mastermind and let some of their friends in. Those friends normally don't show up every time. They don't really offer, the real advice and put in the good things that are making everybody be better. Those people aren't, because they're not invested. You have to be invested in these things to really grow as a person. You have to go all in. And I commend you for getting coaching and, bettering yourself through that. One thing that's transitioned through your life is you're now also a high performance coach. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always kind of, even when I was in the Navy, there's this cool thing I was able to do. It's like a collateral duty. It wasn't my main job. I was a command financial specialist where, sailors and Marines and service members have to see a command financial specialist for a couple different reasons. Obviously, they're in trouble if their command finds out they're in a lot of debt and it's affecting their work. You got to go see a command financial specialist to look at your assets, your liabilities, your income, your expenses, to try to help you. But then there's other reasons too. If a service member wants to go to like a special duty, say if they want to submit a package to go become a recruiter or a drill instructor or some special duty, the military makes them look at their financial position and to make sure they're not drowning in debt. So a command financial specialist is also there to help those individuals do a quick little screening and to submit it up. But then I was able to host different seminars while we were deployed. I was just talking about the basics, and this is when I was actually doing Dave Ramsey type stuff, like Financial Peace University which is a great way to get people started, and understanding the baby steps is great. Like, I would never poo-poo on Dave Ramsey, because it's such a great service that people need. They don't teach this stuff in school. And obviously beyond that, it's kind of the more, okay, if you want to create wealth, financial freedom, you got to look beyond that. You don't go pay off your home and put as much money as you can in your 401k. That's not how you create wealth and financial freedom. Debt-free is not the same thing as financially free. So I was able to do that. I was able to be a command financial specialist and really just help a lot of people. And then I realized I just like sitting one-on-one and helping people. And I was also a big fan of just personal professional development. I was always just trying to look to see how I could improve my mindset, how I could improve the certain characteristics, how I could be more disciplined, all these different things. And then I kind of stumbled upon a bunch of different books. And if anybody has heard of Brendan Burchard, big time influencer, he's a great coach. He has his whole coaching academy, and he put together the certified high performance coaching program. So I went through Brendan Burchard's program, got certified as a high performance coach. Now I really help people one-on-one through proven, scientifically proven and research backed frameworks to help people just grow. And I like working with high earners and high performers who are already high performers really get to the next level, because there's always going to be some kind of breakthrough that's required regardless of what level you're at. But I love getting one-on-one with people and putting them through a proven framework to help them understand how to have more confidence, how to have more resilience, how to be able to communicate better, how to, speak better, and just really get rid of their self-doubt and have more clarity on the future. And so, I love getting one-on-one with people. I'm always looking for people to help. And I'm also offering just kind of a free coaching call to get to know people and help people level up. And if they want to continue working with me, I'm always open to having a conversation with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that holds most people back, right, is their own self-doubt. So, I mean, I think people kind of, they limit their beliefs on where they can go, just like even setting goals. Even some people don't even set goals, but for the majority of people that do set goals, they set their goals too low, easily achievable, and don't really push where they can go. It's amazing when you lay out unrealistic goals. So if you can think of goals that are way beyond where you can fathom, once you kind of set that as your goal, then you start to see where you're making strides towards that. And so, I'm a big fan of the Gap and Gain by Ben Hardy. And so constantly looking at your gains through time, right, to build to that long-term 10x growth. So yeah, I'm a big believer in mindset and, breaking the barriers. And I think based on what you're saying, that's what you're helping people that are, they've gotten to a certain level, but there's still a lot of limiting beliefs. So, I have limiting beliefs, but I try and constantly push through and try and build myself up mentally, but it's very difficult. Cameron, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about running through things? Do you feel like you're limiting your beliefs sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and to your point, it's all about education. And there's the thing they say, I don't even know who said it, so I can't take credit for it. But if you look for something, you'll find it. If you don't, you won't. And, the education's out there. So once you start this path and you start seeing people like you, Tim, that are doing the things you're doing, you start learning more and more. Tony and I were at a seminar this weekend and it's just eye-opening. You keep getting more and more information. Then it starts to grow to where you want more and more information. And you realize, like you said, with the VA loan, for example, so many people don't know that you can use that as a construction or rehab, whatever. It's just about they're out there. You just got to go find it. Yeah. And people like you are helping connect the dots. So yeah, it's phenomenal.
So Tim, let me ask you real quick. So if somebody that wants to bring you on as a high performance coach, do you do a year-long agreement? How does that work? I know you said you'll give them a call. So you give somebody a free call, and that's kind of for you, I'm assuming, to make sure they're a fit for you and you're a fit for them. So let's say we gave you a call, went through the assessment. What are the next steps? How does that look for somebody that wants to get in your program?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. Like, it's literally 12 sessions, and a lot of people, I recommend 12 weeks. So one call a week. We get on a Zoom call just like this for 60 minutes, and we kind of just dive deep in a specific area, a specific topic for that day. And a lot of it is kind of gone over in the initial call. Like, let's say if we have a call where we decide to work together, there's kind of like a pre-call before that. We go over all different areas. They rate themselves. We kind of just I dial into where they're having the most challenges. And then the actual program is 12 sessions. And sometimes it's like if the client or whatever, the student has to miss a week or something like that, we'll maybe skip a week. But either way, it's 12 sessions. Usually it's 12 weeks long. And then we go through that process. And at the end, I mean, there's about a year's worth of different content and different framework that I have laid out that we can continue to go through. But depending on how they reacted, depending on if they were humble, if they were a student, if they actually went through the framework and the steps that I laid out, because there's always action steps, there's always like aha moments and discovery moments and commitments that are made. If they're ready to continue rocking and rolling, 9 times out of 10, they want to continue working with me. But some people, it's not a good fit. That's why I really like the vetting process up front. I don't take just anybody. I have to know a good amount about you, and we have to have some good chemistry in order to want to work together, So that's kind of overview of how it works.
That's awesome. So now, could you give us any examples of anybody that's gone through your program, or you have any success stories, any challenges that people have overcome, anything you could kind of reference that you've, helped people go through and how you've seen them grow, and any success stories or, pupils you can mention or discuss?
Yeah. I mean, man, I there's a lot off the top of my head, and there's a bunch of them on my website, thetimothykelly.com. I mean, that's I just have a bunch of testimonials, video testimonials from people that I've worked with. Even before I was charging as a coach, I did so many different so much coaching for free before I realized how I wanted to conduct my coaching. And really I figured out my flavor of coaching and figured out how I wanted to coach people, and that's when I became certified as a high performance coach. But there's a number of people, and I've even worked with a group, like a group of people, aspiring syndicators, who had 3 guys who were focused on residential real estate, and they really wanted to break into the commercial multifamily space, and 2 of them were actually military, and I worked with them every single week, and I actually gave them 6 months. I doubled their amount of time. And I gave them a really, really, really great deal because it was all 3 of them that they kind of just split it. And yeah, like at this point now, they literally went. This was like about 2 years ago. They just threw their own conference last month, and they were crushing it. They've done a lot of different deals, and 2 of them are still active duty. One of them has a full-time job. He runs a full-time business. And this is just their side gig, and they were able to get together, and so much of it is really about awareness and the how to and the mechanics of how do you do this and how do you raise capital, how you put together a syndication, but it's a little bit about what it's more about who but it's most about who knows you. And if you're able to get out there and share with people, like I said in the very beginning, who you are, what you got going on, just let people know your challenges, let people know, be vulnerable. It's crazy how many opportunities come your way, but you have to break through some barriers in order to be able to have the confidence and clarity in order to do that. And so, yeah, man, that's one. There's another guy who is a retired military guy that I worked with. He, actually went through the active duty passive income academy. He was in the mastermind. Then he really wanted to work with me one-on-one, and I ended up working with him one-on-one, and he crushed it. Now he's actually a one-on-one coach that I certified. I built a one-on-one coaching program inside of ADPI, and now he's a certified one-on-one coach that's coaching other people inside of our community, and he's done a bunch of commercial multifamily deals. So yeah, I mean, I can go on and on, but like that, just to give you an idea, there's definitely a proven proof of concept. I'll say that shared tells me it's not me. It's kind of just the framework that I use, and it's the right people that I choose to work with because they're committed, they're dedicated, and they're hungry and they're coachable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one thing you run in with coaching people, I imagine, that you have to have. So each time that you coach somebody, you can tell them all day long what they need to do and then give them a to-do list before your next session. If they don't do the to-do list and don't commit, then they're not going to get anywhere. You can talk till you're blue in the face, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I completely would agree with that stance. But that's amazing. So you became a high performance coach. Now you've already trained other people becoming a high performance coach. That's great, man.
Yeah.
That you're doing that. You seem to be giving back in a multitude of ways to the military family, and that's awesome. I think the amount of struggles that people, when they get out of the military, that we see in our country that they go through, it sounds like you have been committed to doing as much as you can to help our military family that's coming out and, needs that support. And I think I commend you for being a great support arm for the military. And that's an awesome thing. So is there anything else that you're doing? I'm kind of confused with all the things you do so much. It seems like, I don't know when you're sleeping, but you seem to be doing a lot of stuff.
Man, that's one of the reasons why I got out of the military, at over 15 years, because I just wanted to be able to do the things that I enjoy and want to be able to, raise a family and not have to be on a deployment. And, there's all kinds of things that I love to do. I love to, be on the water, and I love to be outside. I love to be on certain adventure like hikes and climb mountains. And I'm also a musician, been playing drums all my life. And I was gigging with a band in Pensacola almost the whole time I was there. But I haven't connected with any other musicians here yet. I haven't really tried. I'm kind of just getting a footprint in the community and working on building the community and working on creating more coaches that will coach people inside of our community, and I'm looking to help people and give back. So yeah, man, it's it's been a very humbling and rewarding journey for sure. And it's and like the ADPI community, we feel like we're still in the infancy stages of what we're doing and what we're building, even though we've helped so many people alone. I mean, our mastermind, just the multifamily mastermind, has accumulated over $1 billion in assets. Like, they've closed on over $1 billion in assets, and that was just from a survey where like only like half the mastermind submitted all their stats and everything that they've given us. And there's a couple hundred people that are in each mastermind now, so it's been really fun, man. It's definitely cool, and I can't wait till San Antonio's ADPI Con at the end of this month. And I've never been to San Antonio. It's right there on the Riverwalk, and we're looking to get our community together and just hang out and inspire each other and continue to build our family.
So now, if someone is not in your community yet, but is interested in getting in the community, but maybe they just want to go to the ADPI Con in San Antonio at the end of this month, where do they go to research that, find out about it, maybe see if they can get a ticket?
Yeah, I mean, adpicon.com, or they can go to, activedutypassiveincome.com. I mean, if you're there, download our free book, check out all of our free resources, listen to our podcast. And then, especially if you're like local to that area, if you're in a drivable radius to San Antonio, definitely take advantage of it. And there's even a virtual option if you're unable to go, or you just don't want to go show up, which I highly recommend, because if you're in the room full of people, it's a completely different energy. You guys were just at a, it sounds like you guys were recently just at a conference this past weekend or something. And so there's just incredible energy. You can either go to adpicon.com or just or even militaryrealestateinvesting.com, and that's actually where you can download our book, but that'll bring you to our platform, and you'll be able to get tickets and stuff from there.
Yeah, always going to these events live, you get the full energy. You'd never be able to get that on a Zoom call. You're too distracted there.
Yeah, it's full focus.
Yeah, the distraction's gone, and you can really feel the energy of the room, and it really makes a massive difference. So yeah, that's awesome for somebody to get interested and go to that. Well, Tim, thanks so much for coming on the show today, man. It's been a pleasure having you, getting to know your story and your background. And, hopefully we can get you on again someday and hear some more success stories.
No, man, it was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for what you guys are doing, sharing the word and sharing the message, and just spreading awareness, trying to help people. And yeah, love to stay connected for sure.
Well, it's easy for me to be the dumbest one in the room, so I look forward to a lot more meetings.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, that's great.
All right, Tim, thanks so much, man. Now, people are trying to reach out to you. We said the best way to reach you is at timothykelly.com, right?
Yeah, that's one way. That's just my website. Kind of just gives you a good, kind of brings you all the different things that I'm doing. And then on the socials, I love, interacting on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And if you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get there if you're serious about whatever you're doing. So many opportunities there, but all my handles across the board are at the Timothy Kelly. That includes LinkedIn, that includes Facebook, and that includes Instagram. And that includes my website is thetimothykelly.com. But if you're serious and whatever I said resonated to you and you just want to hop on a call, I'd love to give you just a free coaching call. I'd love to get to know you and help you any way I can and connect with you. Just shoot me a text. I'll give you my personal cell phone number, 847-910-9161. Just shoot me a text. Let me know you heard me, and we'll hop on a call.
Awesome. And we'll put all that in the show notes. And Tim, hopefully somebody will reach out to you and we'll continue the growth of what you're doing, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you,
You're
Tim.
welcome. Thanks, fellas.